Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 54 and I am back. I'm feeling really good at this point. If you saw my vlog last week, I was, wasn't looking good. Had COVID. I am way past COVID at this point, which is really nice. The only lingering thing is that I can't taste anything and I can't smell anything. So food, the whole eating food experience completely gone. I'm basically eating to stay alive. I'm not eating for enjoyment. But I can't complain a whole lot because respiratory wise, I'm good. I can still go out and exercise, feeling good from that perspective. Did take it really easy from an exercise standpoint over the last couple of weeks, but that's to be expected. But right now, I'm feeling really good. Thank you everybody for the well wishes. You guys are great. So I'm really excited to not have to be cooped up in the house anymore. One thing I've learned about myself is that I will not be a very good retired person because that's kind of what it felt like, where I didn't really have anything to do. The one thing that kind of helped me a little bit is that I was able to kind of do some more research, continuing education, scripting of videos, things like that. So I was able to do certain things to keep me occupied in that time. Watched a lot of movies. I didn't realize how many movies have been made since I started, working, for myself 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago at this point. So I've been catching up on some movie watching, which has been really cool. But I'm ready to get back into the clinic this next week. My staff is fantastic. They basically moved us out of the old clinic into the new clinic. I did do a lot of duo sessions, so just like video sessions with some of my staff members to kind of get things set up in the new clinic, but 99% of the move was done by everybody else other than me and Ashley, because Ashley, as you know, was kind of laid up with COVID as well. But the new clinic is looking really good. I know I shared some photos of everything when it's like everything still needed to be unpacked. That's in last week's vlog. I'm probably not going to go in there and do kind of like a final vlog of the new location, but I'm thinking in a couple of weeks we'll do that. We just had frosting go up on the glass walls and glass doors inside of this space to give some more privacy. That all just happened today. We had to put some like window tint and window reflection, film over the windows that are south-facing. Here in Arizona, with that sun being out all the time, it really drives heat into the 3 treatment rooms that we have that are on the south-facing wall. So we had the film go in, and that's supposed to block like 76% of the heat that comes in through the windows. So that'll be a really good thing. It'll end up saving us energy costs down the road from not having to run the air conditioner so much in the summertime, because as you know, we're in the desert. It gets pretty stinking hot. But there's a lot of little finishing touches. So today, the baseboard guy had to come back in and do some touch-ups on the baseboard. Over the course of the next month, there's probably going to be a few more touch-ups that happen with things like paint and some drywall things and all of that. But I mean, we're getting pretty close to where the space is almost up and functioning perfectly. What I can say is this: they've actually, my staff, excluding me, has been working in the clinic over the last week. So technically the grand opening was on January 11th and I was not there for the grand opening, but it was kind of one of those things where like we close up on Thursday, we open and we're just in a new place on Monday. So there wasn't, with COVID going on, we're not even going to do like a celebration or like an open house kind of party thing at the new location. It's just not going to happen. Very, very weird year for all of this stuff. But hopefully 2021 ends up panning out to be better than what 2020 was. Today I just recorded a ton of videos. Actually, you can probably tell my voice is a little on the hoarse side. I probably spent the last 3.5 hours recording videos today. So just a lot of that because I did a lot of scripting over the course of the last couple of weeks here that I've been laid up. So haven't been sitting around doing nothing, although it feels that way because I haven't actually seen like in person a patient in like 2 weeks at this point. which is a really long time. I am definitely an extrovert. I've identified that. Like a lot of these things, like that I probably knew about myself, they just come out even more when you're forced to stay at home. I crave human contact. I've identified that. I get my human contact primarily from going to work. I've identified that. Video stuff is cool. I mean, that's better than nothing, but it can't replace like physically being in the presence of people. But you know, at least we have it. I mean, back when I was in the military and I was deployed overseas, there was no like seeing anybody. It was, you could do a phone call like every once in a while, but you know, when you're in like a combat zone, you're not doing like video calling with family. So it's crazy that you can do a lot of video stuff. And I actually did see some patients. I did some patient care through the online platforms that we have with certain hearing aid manufacturers. We can do some remote care, remote programming. But I mean, I'm sitting in my kitchen basically doing those sessions, which is kind of funny. But I'm really looking forward to getting back in the office. I think I mentioned last week, we definitely went over budget. So not that I wasn't going to work really hard to kind of recoup that, but you know, we do need to kind of make up some extra money that we had to spend on this project. You know, some of it was because we wanted to do upgrades above and beyond what the typical build out would be. And the other part of it is that we spent a lot of money fixing errors that happened with the first general contractor when they were on the job. So, you know, there's a lot of work to be done. I think we're going to be okay. We ended up doing pretty good last year, even though COVID was running rampant throughout the entire country. We ended up turning a profit last year, which I'm really happy and proud about, because at the end of the day, we have to keep the business up and running. We have to turn a profit. If we don't turn a profit, we go out of business. So that's just the simple fact of the matter. And now that there's a lot more at stake in terms of the capital expense of having an office space that we own and that we spent a lot of money to build out, and now we have a loan associated with that. The good news is that we don't have to increase prices for patients. We're just going to have to take more of the money that we collect and put it towards the loan payment is basically what's going to happen. So I think that's pretty typical with any industry. I mean, I've spoken with different individuals, optometrists, dentists, whatever, different service professionals, kind of like what we are, that ended up going out and buying their own space or having a build out of their space, and you know, discussing the financial ramifications of doing that, but also that it's more rewarding, because down the road, what's going to happen is that we're not going to have this massive burden of the overhead expense of the facility anymore, like we did when we rented and like we do right now. And at some point, the space will be paid off, and that'll kind of open us up and kind of free us up a little bit, and instead of having all the pressure to make sure that you can pay all the bills all the time. So I'm looking forward to that day when it happens. We are somewhat in control of the costs of it, right? Because we have our mortgage costs, and we don't have to worry about our landlord increasing the rent year over year, or at the end of a lease term, them saying that they don't want to renew us anyway, and then we have to leave and find somewhere else. So it feels really good just to kind of have our forever home. We're expanding too. I mean, the new space is bigger for us. And so I'm really looking forward to getting our fourth year extern coming in, I think around May or June is when we have a student from Arizona State University who's going to be coming in to work with us and can finish up their last year of training on the job with us at our clinic. So I'm really excited about inundating them with the philosophy and concept of best practice care all the time. We do everything the way that we're supposed to, and not cut corners. And that's really important to me. And I feel like I'm contributing to the profession by taking someone in and training them. And even if they don't stay with us long term, they will at least have been inundated with, you can run a clinic and be successful and follow best practices when doing it. You don't have to cut corners in order to make the financials work and stuff like that. Bryce also, I mean, he's been the guy running the show, really, at the new clinic from a patient care perspective. He had a really busy week this last week. First week getting in to the new digs, trying to figure out how everything flows, because it is a completely different flow than what we had at the previous location. The previous location was just, we rented individual rooms. It was an executive office suite. So to now come into an environment, that we have it specifically designed for a certain type of patient flow and check-in, check-out, and testing and all of that. It's a little different to get used to. Shouldn't be too crazy, but the space is really nice, really functional to be able to work in, so I'm really excited about that. But we'll see. I think that there's some things that could change over the course of the first couple weeks, couple months, as we figure out how we like to set things up inside of our rooms, how we do testing, how we adjust the schedule to accommodate, because now there's more treatment area inside of the office. So it'll be really interesting to see how that all pans out. And of course, I'll be sharing that information with you guys here on the vlog. If there's anything that I've identified thus far, is that whatever I think is going to happen never actually happens that way, and then we have to kind of pivot and change what our thoughts were and change how we do things ultimately. So we'll get it all figured out. I'm really excited though to kind of get into the new space, because man, what is it, like a year? It's been a year since we bought the place. It's been over a year since we bought the place. It's been a little over a year since we started the build out of the place. If you go back to like vlog number 1, I'm standing in an empty gray shell with a jacket on, because it was like, like December or January or something like that. And it was cold out, cold for me here in Arizona anyway. And it's been a whole year of this, you know, with COVID and the build out, both nightmares, and they're both ended up being okay. And hopefully, obviously, COVID not over. The build out's over, so that one nightmare is over. We got to see how this other nightmare is going to continue on. As I ramble here, I'll explain to you that I am signed up to get the vaccine. I don't know how all that works, because now I might be immune to COVID for at least a couple of months, maybe with some kind of built-up immunity. But I still plan on getting the vaccine, and we'll see when that happens. Here in Arizona, things are not particularly organized. I think that's pretty standard across the country, but it is what it is. We'll continue to be precautious at the clinic, hand sanitize like crazy, wiping down surfaces like crazy, wearing masks like crazy, basically everything that we know how to do at this point to try to prevent me from transmitting to someone else, and to prevent someone else from transmitting to me again. So a lot of fun stuff. As you can tell, I have a lot more energy today than what I did last week, because I'm feeling so much better, and I'm looking forward to getting to the new clinic. So that is it for today, guys. Short and sweet, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to check out any of the other vlogs to track the progress of the build out before I do the big reveal here in the next couple of weeks, make sure that you set some time aside to check those out as well. But as always, guys, I will see you next week.